Understand I'm a man with a plan, and I'm planning to bring you along. This is it, go don't quit, cause I need your love. I need your love.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Greg and Good Company podcast. This week or month or episode, because I don't know when I'm going to release these, I'm joined by Kev O'Brien of one of my favorite rock bands in LA, Mechanical Roots, which Kev O'Brien is the frontman, the singer, songwriter, guitarist, one of the best damn guitarists I know. And then on bass, his rest of his band could not be with us today, but we have Zach Gaston, and we have Patricia Tellis on drums.
Yep.
Tellis on drums. I was so close.
So close. And
so you guys, you start off with an EP called Who We Are, and from that, my favorite single from you, favorite song from you guys so far, Into the Storm.
Into the Storm.
Regularly listen anytime that. I put that shit on my car all the time.
That's the only one you have on your playlist.
Yeah, that's just my. I love that song.
That's your go-to.
Like I love that song.
Yeah, that's a popular song.
And then your new one, Daydream, which is also a really cool song.
Daydream. Yep.
So you guys are like, you're like, would you say hard rock?
Well, that's the funny thing is that's I feel like the one question that every musician is always like, you really asked me that? What type of music are you? Mm-hmm. The good kind, man. Just listen to it, all right? You know? But no, I think we go more towards the alternative rock, hard rock kind of vibe. Yeah, I mean, I would say alternative rock is a comfortable way to put it.
Yeah, but alternative rock in itself is just, I mean, I agree with you.
Like,
they're all bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alternative rock, I mean, it's like anything on Alt 98.7 FM, the station out here in LA is alternative rock. And it's like, wait, are the Lumineers alternative rock? And then like, every once in a while they play Kid Rock, Ball with the Ball. Is that alternative rock?
That's a jam.
And then we have Imagine Dragons. Is that
right,
alternative rock?
It's like the alternative of rock. So I don't know. It's one of those things. It's just very vast. Like if you listen to the music, what do you think it is? We call it alternative rock. We went by alternative post rock for a little while.
Ooh, what is that? Alternative post rock.
Post rock, because I'm so in love with tones from post rock bands like If These Trees Could Talk, Explosions in the Sky, Russian Circles. Like I'm all about those.
Well, what does post rock mean? I've heard that before.
Post rock, it's the bands that I listen to, post rock genre or post metal even. They're all instrumental bands. Mm-hmm. So Explosions in the Sky, you got Russian Circles, If These Trees Could Talk. What's the other one? I don't know. There's a whole thing about them, but that's, I guess, the post-rock genre. And so that's what we were
But what does it mean, though, to be post-rock? Because here's my interpretation. You tell me if I'm wrong. I got this because I saw a book at Barnes & Noble's, and I picked it up, read like a page, like, oh, that's interesting. I might buy this one day, and never bought it. But I think it's kind of the idea that, like, we've kind of seen it all in rock and roll, right? It's been around for so many decades now that it's like we're now like beyond rock, like the conception of rock. So now it's
rock
like,
and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll. So now it's like post rock, and to me, post rock incorporates just a little bit of everything, possibly.
Yeah, a lot of ambient tones, a lot of clean yet like heavy. I guess like droney kind of a vibe, but.
So you ditched that. You said we're not post-rock anymore.
Well, because it didn't really make sense. Because if you listen to Into the Storm, it's not post-rock at all. Like, it's more of alternative rock or, shit, you can even say...
Whoa,
yeah.
whoa,
You can even go...
whoa. Exactly. I'm going to play that part right now. So alternative rock, that makes sense. I think that's a fair, and I think the most important thing with genre is just that you personally identify with it and you're comfortable calling yourself because you're basically pitching yourself when What do you play? Alternative rock. Oh, I like alternative rock.
Right. A lot of people
I'm interested in checking that out.
Right.
Greg Good Company, we've gone through. I mean, I've said everything because it's like,
yeah.
You know, people said we're Americana, so I guess
folk rock,
Americana,
sure.
Roots rock, folk rock, whatever.
Folk rock is cool.
So I just say Americana, but I'm with you. Good music. It's rock and roll.
Listen to it.
Yeah, check it out. I say it's catchy as fuck, rock and roll, full of heart and soul.
That would make sense.
That's how I describe the Greg and Good
Who wouldn't
Company
want to listen
music.
to that?
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty good sales
That's a
pitch.
good way to lead it on.
So what I wanted to start off with you, because you've been in LA now how many years?
3 years.
3 years.
4 years will be Christmas. So, I just hit my 3-year anniversary.
And I met you at Universal Bar. Well, I met you at a show before, but I've seen Mechanical Roots at Universal Bar and Grill at a show probably not that long ago.
I believe
a year?
But
Something
before that, I was actually looking back in my messages in Mechanical Roots, just kind of like see who I should follow up with. And I was looking at old messages, and Greg, a Good Company, was supposed to play with us at this one gig. And you're like, hey, some shit kind of came up. We had to bail the day of.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. So that might have been the first time we were supposed to meet, or we already met.
No, we already met. So that means we know each other for about a year and a half now at this
Yeah.
point. Because at that point, we liked each other's music, and you're like, yeah, play this show. And I was really stoked to play the show.
Was I? I can't even
that
remember.
was your
single release show.
EP release show.
Yeah.
And I had gotten arrested the night before.
Yeah, shit happens.
For punching a dude in the face with a chain wrapped around my fist because he tried to murder me. And I'm clear of all charges. Update.
He's no longer on the run, people.
So yeah, that was a bummer. I was really bummed I had to miss that show. But what I really want to talk to you about is kind of the struggle of being a front man, forming your band kind of around your vision, and your experience with that. Because I think obviously that's kind of what we're both doing. And it's tough. So I wanted to kind of get your insight into that of what have you been, what has been the biggest obstacles, most frustrating things, what the biggest roadblocks you've come to as you've been trying to make Mechanical Roots. Yeah,
well, I think for any musician, when you get to a certain age, right, when you hit your early 20, 23 to 26, right? I mean, I'm 26 now, but the whole thing, when you come to a city where it's run by entertainment, all the musicians you try to work with are like, yeah, cool, man, I'll do it, but it's going to cost you. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, hey, man, I'm from Connecticut, dude. I'm not even from a big city, So in Connecticut, you've talked to any musician, they're like, yeah, let's play, let's just jam, for sure, man, we'll make something out of it. If something happens, cool, we'll have a band. Mm-hmm. You come out here and you want to start a band, it's like, okay, hired gun city. So I think that, as a musician coming to a major city like Los Angeles or New York City or something like that, and you're fresh off the boat, no one, and you're only the only way you're meeting people is going to these jams, and a lot of the jams are session guys, and you're talking to them, you're like, hey, look, I got this great sound I know you're going to love. And they're like, cool, yeah, charge this much for rehearsal. And you're like, God damn it. Dude, can we just jam? What happened to that? What happened to the organic feeling of just, hey, let's pick up 2 guitars or a bass and a guitar or a drum set and a guitar or whatever and just kick it and jam and just have a good time. I feel like that's kind of obsolete out here for a lot of the scene.
I've always, when I think of everything I want to do in music, I've personally, I've never wanted to be in a cover band. If I play a cover, it better be, I want to put a fun spin on it, or the source material really matches my voice or something really well.
100%.
But to me, it's I'm trying to, if I'm going to put time into making music, I want it to be an expression of who I am. It's an art form. And I thought way more people thought that way. And, it turns out they don't.
Yeah, you're from Pennsylvania, right?
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so you get it. It's there's no major city music scene over there. Mm-hmm. Nobody moves to, where we came from to pursue a music career. They come to the entertainment capital of the world,
Yeah. But you would think even in that, and there are plenty of people like us.
Oh, 100%.
But it's they're harder to find. But you would think because there's a bunch of people from all over the United States or the world coming to LA with a passion to create music, to make something, to become something of what their idols were, to follow in their footsteps. Oh, I love the Who. I want to be, a Roger Daltrey, and it is crazy how many people are just like, I just want to be paid.
Yeah, and I get it.
That's all I care about,
dude. Because there's nothing worse than not getting paid for what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you still love your craft. So, like for me at least, it's if I play a show and we don't get paid, I'm not at the end of the night being like, oh, fuck this. Like I never want to do this again. I didn't get my paycheck. At the same time, like I would much rather be performing on stage, whether it's my own original music or anybody's. It doesn't matter. If I got a guitar in my hand and I'm performing and I'm not doing some crappy day job,
you feel good. You're on top of the world.
That's the yoga for me, man.
Yeah,
like,
there's
no better feeling.
That's why you're living, right?
100%. Yes. So, but I understand the grind. Like, hey, look, okay, you're a hired gun. I get it, and that's dope, But that's not really what I'm looking for. So that's what I struggled with a lot. We Mechanical Roots struggled with drummers across. Dude, we were like the Chili Peppers with the guitar player, but with drummers. We were just struggling, having to keep a drummer, and the drummers we had were awesome. They were great. We are at where we're.
How many drummers have you gone through?
5.
5 drummers? Oh, I thought it was 4. Wow.
No, I've gone through 5.
Is Patricia the 5th?
She's the 5th drummer, yeah.
Okay.
And she's
So you haven't gone through her yet. You've gone through 4.
Yeah,
my count was right.
This is drummer number 5, and she's kicking ass. But yeah, dude, moving out here, I did a couple jams. But again, I was looking in the wrong place. I was looking for musicians to join an organic band of original music in the wrong areas. I wasn't really in a scene yet. I didn't know a lot.
So you're doing jams with like you said, with these established, veteran players.
Right. Doing jams on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah. Instead of like the open mics where it's like kind of in maybe an obscure place in the valley, people are like, "Hey, I'm a singer-songwriter," and then
exactly.
and then most of them suck, but there's one of them that's just like, "Holy shit, that person's amazing."
And that kind of changed my perspective on things. Like, okay, hey, you know what? Maybe I could be a session guitarist. Maybe this is.
You could be, because you're an incredible guitarist. You could absolutely be a session guitarist,
and I would never turn a gig down for sure. But it's, like everybody has their calling and what they want to do. If you move here and you want to be a session player, whether you're bass, drums, guitar, sax, whatever it is, hell yeah, go for it. Go for it 100%. But I realized doing session work, I picked up a bunch of gigs since I've been out here as a session guitar player, and there's nothing more fulfilling than people vibing out to your own craft, your own creation, your own art. And so as much as I love doing session work, and it's great, fucking jamming with anybody is always a good time. When you're performing your own stuff, like there's no better feeling than that, especially when the crowd is digging what you're doing. And it's just so much more rewarding. So,
and there's also too, so you're talking about how, you would rather be like, if you don't get paid for a show. Some people are like, no, I need to get paid for my music. But I look at it this way, and I'm sure you do too, that's practice. You're getting the best, because you can rehearse all you want. But how you playing live is different. It's a different skill set because you have different pressure on you. Yeah. And you're dealing with different external factors that are impacting the overall performance, right?
100%.
So every time you play in a dinky bar, that's where you're really honing your skill, so that one day, years down the road, when you're playing a major venue, when you're opening up for that big band or you're on tour, that's how you got there, because you got so comfortable playing in front of people at these dive bars that aren't paying you.
Right, and you not only do you get comfortable like with that scenario, but it also helps you when you can't, as a singer. You already know, as a singer and guitar player, as a frontman, when you can't hear yourself and the sound on stage is horrible.
It's the worst.
You're having a horrible time. You're having a good time, but you're like, fuck, I can't.
Inside my head, I learned to just go, fuck it, and push for, and just not worry about the stress of, oh, do I sound like crap? Am I even hitting the notes? And just push through it. But yeah, it's the worst, because you have no center, basically. You have nothing to really center your performance on if you can't hear it.
Exactly.
But that's also rock and roll.
Oh, of course. And no, dude, a bad gig is a good gig.
Mm-hmm.
If you play a horrible gig and everything you could possibly think of goes wrong under the sun, and you still kill it, and people still come up to you and are like, hey, I love that was sweet, then you know, like, okay, when I have a great sound and good people behind me, it's like, fuck yeah, I know it's going to be good. I know I'm going to kill it. But when you kill it at a bad gig and you keep your persona is like, yeah, this is, I'm still the frontman. This is my band. We are still going strong. If you can keep that up when shit hits the fan, you got to put on a show. And if you can do that, fucking gold. You know?
Yeah. And the only person who can get away with that and let shit hit the fan and not save it is Mariah Carey. New Year's Eve.
Oh my God.
2018. She's like, I don't even care anymore. I just like walk around the stage. Yeah. I don't know if anyone saw that, but Mariah Carey completely bombed on national television. I think it was 2018, New Year's, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And it was
horrible.
Spectacular. And she just started you could hear the background vocals, it's still Mariah Carey singing, but then she's like talking to Mike about how she can't hear herself, just full diva. Yeah. And I think she now has a Las Vegas residency and still making millions.
Everybody's got if you get a Las Vegas residency, you made it.
Yeah. If Mechanical Roots says that, you are worse than Nickelback.
Yes. Nickelback, good band. They are a good band. I will stand behind that.
No,
they rip.
Listen, Nickelback happened to what our culture does is they reached a peak, and same thing happened to Creed. They were adored, they liked them, and then they reached a peak where people just want to see you fail. And just same thing happened to Justin Bieber, where the culture just turns on you.
Well, also with Creed, that dude is a whack job, the lead singer.
Yeah, but he went. He lost his mind after that society turned on him, though. So, I think the worst he got when everyone's like, yeah, Creed sucks, is when he would get drunk on stage and, just sit down and barely remembered his words.
Oh, man.
But it was, for 4 years, Creed is, they made a shit ton of money and great music, and at a certain point, people were like, yeah, they're a Christian rock band. Yeah, they suck. I don't know.
You know what's kind of funny though?
I like Creed to this day. I got nothing against Creed. Hey, I think they made some awesome music, really good songs with really cool, heartfelt lyrics. I don't think they're Christian rock.
Early 2000s.
Just because you reference God doesn't mean you're in a Christian rock band. Sure. I think that really brought them down. Nothing against Christians. My family is full of them. But for some reason...
Just want to clarify that.
Yeah, I like Christians. They're cool. I like people of any religion unless they're assholes.
Christians out there.
I like them all.
Well, you can argue Mumford & Sons, they talk a lot about, light and they say God in a couple of their songs, too.
I say God in my songs, too, and I don't believe in God. I'm an atheist. Well, but it's I still reference God because as a culture, God is a being. Yeah. To everyone else. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if I believe him or not, but God exists in the culture. So it's people are praying to God out there, so I'm going to acknowledge that.
Yeah, because they can relate to that, and then when you listen to a song that you can relate to, and you put yourself inside the voice of the song, it's that's what makes a great song. You can relate to it like that. You guys do a good job of that.
That's what I think.
One of my favorite songs of yours is 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's a very creative song. It's I don't know your name by 2 a.m., but dude, that's great.
Yeah, that's all about just, I think everyone can relate to it because it was me thinking about how in college I would go out to bars or parties and go and flirt with girls and then, be hitting it off, and then the end of the night comes. Do you remember? You don't remember my name, do you? And I'd be like,
remind me.
You either guess,
but that's also a good thing right. I know you from somewhere. Hey, asshole! Last night. Oh shit.
Yeah, but I think to me, and I also am terrible with names. Yeah. So it takes me a while to remember a person's name just sober meeting them. I'm a face person, and so to me, it's all about. That song is not put the importance on. Do you remember my name? I think is quite silly, and it's also that expectation of going into a bar and meeting someone.
Oh yeah,
and expecting them to remember your name by 2 a.m. and when you're drinking and you're getting drunk is an outlandish expectation. And the line, I think I'm falling in love. A lot of people think it's like a love song that I'm like, it's like a joke. Like I think of falling. It's ironic. Like you're shit faced. You're not falling in love tonight. You are looking in the absolute worst place for love.
100%.
So that's what that song's about.
Yep. No, I like the concept, dude. Especially if you're bar crawling and it's like, you're out with your boys, you're striking out the last. You're down to like freaking 4 shots and like 8 beers. You get the last bar and it's like, and you find the one person. You're like, I'm in love.
Oh yeah. You find the right person,
and you're like, oh my god, what did I do? That's a great concept for a song, dude. Everybody can relate to that. That's a good. I like that song a lot. Greg and Good Company. Yeah, you guys rip, man.
Hey, that's my band.
Dude, wait, hold on. You're Greg from Greg and Good Company?
Yeah, dude, that's my song.
Oh, shit.
Do you know that?
You guys on Spotify?
We are on
Apple
Spotify.
Music?
Yeah, dude, it takes a lot to get on Spotify.
Fuck Spotify, man. Let's be real.
Before we get there,
all right.
I gotta try to keep this conversation on track here as an interviewer. Talking about the struggles. Okay, so one of the struggles of forming your band in LA, or probably any major city, is people want to be paid.
Yes.
Right. So that's struggle one. Yeah. What else are you dealing with?
I understand people want to get paid. Yeah. Struggle one. Struggle number 2 is the time. Finding the time, because first off, this is one of the most expensive places to live in the entire world. And, there's a reason why. I
paid $10,000 for this little guest house we're in right now.
Jesus, there you go.
Just kidding. But I do pay way too much for this house.
This is definitely worth $10,000. But no, you move to one of the most expensive places to live in the world, and as a musician, you're just like so gung ho or headstrong of like, all right, this is it, man. Like I'm gonna do music full time. You might have came out here with some money saved up, and then you realize how much the city just eats you alive at your wallet, your bank account, and you're like, damn, this is like one of the hardest things I've ever done, And so one of the struggles is like finding the time. It's like, oh shit, wait, I need a job. Like I need income. Music isn't paying the bills. I thought, LA was going to be the greatest thing in the world, but holy shit, man. This is like a dog eat dog world. You might meet some people that, hey, you're the shit, man, let's hang. And then all of a sudden they stab you in the back. And it's like, oh.
You've been stabbed in the back?
Dude, multiple times. Physically. I got the wounds. You can see the wounds, bro. One of them's still open. I just refuse to go back. I don't have health insurance, so screw it, man. No, but, it's one of those things where you need the time. And not only do you have to find the time, but depending on how big your band is, you all need to organize the time. And we've had conversations like this.
So let's break this down real quick. So part of the struggle is just finding a way to support yourself as a person.
As a human being.
As a human being. Before you even go to, I'm going to start a band, you need to situate yourself so that you have some kind of stability to pay the bills and do what you need to do.
The first thing I did was find a band. When I moved out here, I didn't have a job for like 4 or 5 months. And it was a struggle, dude. Like, I was living in some weird places. It was some weird shit going on. But in the end, it's like, I came out here thinking like, oh, this is going to be a breeze, because Connecticut and New York City was like, it was awesome. So I'm like, oh, LA's got to be very similar. But yeah, I came out here looking for musicians before I seeked out income, thinking this was going to be great. But yeah, what you start to realize is like, holy shit, I gotta eat. I was eating like ramen noodles.
5 months into it, that's when you realize I gotta eat.
Dude,
I haven't eaten for 4 or 5 months.
I lost so much weight. I seriously did, man. When I moved out here, I was like 170. I lost like almost 30 pounds when I moved out here because I was living off of, I realized, oh my God, all my money's gone. I have no job, and the job that I got wasn't gonna start paying me for 3 weeks. So I was living in this like crazy hippie household I found on Craigslist, and I was eating cream of corn and ramen noodles and peanut butter and banana sandwiches for a month. Like that's all. So
that is the LA diet. You want to lose weight? Actress, models, you paying attention?
Yeah.
Go live in a hippie crack house,
dude. There was oh my God. So I stayed in this one place, man, and there was a spider that was loose in the house, right? And my cousin had just come to visit me. And we were staying, my room, mind you, was like the size of a closet. My bed was not even a bed. It was so small that I had to have bins stacked up behind me to support my head. Otherwise, I wouldn't fit on the whole bed. And dude, it was so funny, man. And there was a spider that was loose in the house, and one of the people
a spider that was loose, as in it was like a captive spider, and then it got loose.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't.
Was it a
know,
pet spider like in Home Alone, where Buzz's spider gets loose?
Craigslist, honestly, it could have been one of those low key things like, oh shit, by the way, I forgot to tell you we have a poisonous spider, and it is out, it is loose, and watch out. And then I'm like, oh,
was it a big spider?
I don't know what kind of spider it was, but I remember,
because I have spiders on a loose in here, but they just live here. They're not on a loose. They're not
out to get you.
They're just like insects that live amongst us.
Yeah, exactly. They're taking care of the mosquitoes. But no, this particular spider, I remember I was sitting on the front porch of this house, just like waiting to go to work. I had some time to kill. I was just enjoying the sun, and all of a sudden, one of the guys that lived there, he comes out with a swollen arm, dude. And he's like, yo, man, I spent all night squeezing my arm out into the sink, so don't use the bathroom. It's not working anymore. There's a really gnarly spider on the loose, and we have to get... Dude, it was so... And my cousin was staying over, and we looked at each other like, what am I doing? Like, what? And this guy was nuts, man. He was out of his mind. His arm was the size of a leg. It was swollen so bad, and he was like... It was oozing. Not just to make all the weak stomach people out there.
Did he see the spider before when it
He
bit
didn't
him?
see it. No, they didn't. Neither of them saw it. And the woman that owned the house, she was in the ER because the spider bit her on the head, dude. And so.
This is like a horror movie where this spider is just like getting you. Yeah. It's like out to get people.
Dude, it was insane. And
so multiple victims from the spider.
Two victims, and then little dog Pepper. God bless his soul. He's a little Chihuahua. He was cool. But he didn't get bit.
I thought you were going to say they got Pepper.
He got eaten.
The dogs always survive, and the spider always survives.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, it was it was crazy, man. And then I ended up sleeping on the floor that night. I was generous to my cousin. I'm like, dude, take the bed. I'll knock out on the floor. We had a great night. We were partying or whatever.
Did you guys take shifts?
No, spider. We only slept there one night because they're like, oh, they charge them $30 a night to live there or to sleep there. I'm like,
really?
Dude, I pay rent here.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it sucked.
So that's hilarious. There's a killer spider on loose, and they're still charging him money.
Yeah.
He's in a quarantine area that should be like getting the CDC in to come in and find his mutant spider, and they're like, all right. By the way, you might die if you sleep here, but it's cost $30.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, oh my God, that was a crazy time. So then,
so the struggle is mutant spiders and finding a place to live.
Yeah.
So you went right into it. Like your first priority was finding the band, finding musicians, and your survival, your well-being, your health was an afterthought.
Yeah,
and 5 months into it, you go, "Oh shit, I might die soon if I don't get a job that has income."
Well, yeah, and it was also
spider.
Like, dude, I need my own apartment. I can't like keep shacking. I was living on the couches. I was, I was staying at my girlfriend's spot in Newport Beach, and it was so far from where I was trying to do my thing. So I was like, dude, I need an apartment, and her and I came up with the idea of we should just move together. She's a photographer, dope photographer.
She's here.
She's here. She's
now. Sitting behind us.
Yeah, she's
refusing to speak. Alex. I wasn't sure if that was going to be that girlfriend. I was like, oh, is this?
Dude, I haven't. Beforehand? This is the only girl in California, man.
All right, so you can't relate to 2 a.m. the song 2 a.m. for years now. That was past life.
That was
just
my.
like
I didn't go to college, but I call it my college life because all my friends went to college, and I always visited them.
Smart man. And that's all you need to do.
Hey,
if I could do it over again, I would go to a more rural college where security isn't very tight, where you can just go into classes and they don't care who's there. You don't like. I went to school in Philadelphia, so you need to flash your ID badge to get in everywhere.
Oh,
so if I could do it again, what I'll tell my children: if you want to do anything in the arts, I went for film school, a.k.a. I just went to party. And if I were to do it again, I would just get housing near the campus, go to some classes I liked, and then party, and then work a job and have a good time.
Yeah,
that's how you do college.
That's how you do college.
If you know you're getting a worthless degree that the piece of paper doesn't matter. Like some degrees, a piece of paper matters. You want to be an engineer, you got to have a piece of paper. You want to
unless you work at Boeing. Apparently, Boeing's just screwing up, dude. Oh, you haven't heard?
We're getting sidetracked.
Yeah, yeah. If you're an engineer, you want to work at Boeing. Apparently, don't need credentials.
Okay, so you move in with your girlfriend, you find some stability.
Yeah, so we moved in together, but yeah, then it was like, dude, I need a job. And I worked in the restaurant business before. I had my own landscaping business in Connecticut, so I kind of moved away from the whole, being a waiter deal. But being a waiter, I think everybody should be a waiter in their life.
I agree.
A few people say
totally.
That, but it's a really, first off, it's a fun job. It's a fun job. Mm-hmm. Depending on where you work and who you work with, you're going to have great times at being a waiter, man. And plus, it's free food. Come on.
If the restaurant's cool.
If the restaurant's
a lot of times they aren't, actually. They're greedy corporate bastards. Yeah. They're like, you get 15% off.
Yeah, that's true.
Go fuck yourself.
But, finding a job it became all or nothing. Like, if you don't have a job, you cannot live here.
That my advice to anybody who moves out to LA or any big city is the opposite of what you did for all the reasons you just said.
Yeah.
It's find the job first, get stability, make sure you can have a place to sleep that it doesn't have mutant spiders on the loose.
Yeah, watch out for them.
No crazy hippies, and you can pay your rent and you can support yourself. Then once you have that foundation, that's when you start pursuing rounding up the
getting the troops.
Artists the troops you need for whatever endeavor you're doing.
Getting the posse going here. Yeah, dude, because finding a job became number one priority, and then I still practiced every day, which musicians should do. Mm-hmm. You practice your craft. You got to get, especially out here, you got to be good.
I sing in the shower every day, and that counts.
Whatever it takes, man. So for any commuters out there, if you're a singer and you're commuting to work, your car is your best studio, man. Just belt it out. Who cares who's watching you? That's the best time to practice. When I go to work, it's an hour commute most days. That's an hour practice time that I get singing. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's
smart.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people complain about LA traffic, and it's like, how can you make it work for you? So for me, actually, I use it to make like my phone calls to my family and stuff. Like I'll be like,
oh yeah.
There's different ways, but that's a really good point. You could be practicing, especially if you're a singer. That's a great idea.
Because in my apartment, everybody and their mother could hear you just talk. It's ridiculous, and you can hear like a whisper down the hall or upstairs. And so I feel.
Do they whisper? Shut the fuck up.
I'm like, did you hear that? It's the ghost again. But yeah, it's like who the hell wants to hear somebody practicing singing in their apartment? They got a Sunday off. They've just been busting their ass all week, and they just hear someone belting it, and it's like, nah, man, it can't be doing that.
That's one of the reasons I'm happy to live in a house, because
for
the longest time, I lived in an apartment where a woman who lived not even directly beneath me, we lived over the carport. So a woman who lived downstairs, but then like to the right.
Away,
she said she complained because she could hear my dogs walking around. And then she was like, can you not load a dishwasher between these hours? I'm like, can you go fuck yourself?
Can you not load the dishwasher?
Can you move out immediately and get a reality check that you're living in an apartment and you're going to hear things?
That's hilarious. Load the dishwasher. That's a new one.
Yeah. And like she could hear us, like she said we slam cupboards. And I was like,
cupboard.
Yeah, nice. It's weird, but that's congratulations. Like, welcome to living in an apartment, lady.
That's the apartment life.
Yeah,
man.
You got to accept.
Yeah,
that.
and we talk about this. Like your neighbors, you're gonna have rowdy neighbors where you're like, oh my god, why did I move here? But then you're like, oh, the rent's cheap. Screw it.
Well, it's not cheap. It's actually outrageous.
It's actually an arm and a leg.
It's cheaper than other rent, but it's still you're paying. Should we talk about what we pay for rent now?
I think.
What do you pay?
So we live in a 1-bedroom. And it does not include parking. It does not include any amenities. Mm-hmm. That's a weird word to say.
Sound it out.
Amenities. That's a tongue twister. Say that 3 times fast.
Amenities.
Good company, everybody. But yeah, so we don't. Yeah, and parking. I think if you move to LA, for anybody that plans on moving.
Wait, what do you pay for rent? Don't keep them waiting.
What is it? $15.75.
$15.75 plus utilities
for a 1-bedroom. There's no utilities included.
So. No, that's what I'm saying. Plus utilities. Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. I was paying for a 2-bedroom just like maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
That's the difference.
Yeah, that's how crazy rent's gotten. Where that 2-bedroom is now $2,400.
Oh yeah.
When I was paying $1,700 for a 2-bedroom in West Hollywood.
And I bet you that the 2-bedroom you're living in didn't have washer and dryer in the unit or anything like that, right?
Did not.
See, ours does. We lucked out with
beautiful.
brand new appliances. We have a water filter built into the fridge. It's a very small apartment, but it's got nice appliances, washer dryer in the unit.
But the point is, $1,500.
$1,500.
What you have to pay just to have a roof in your head, and that's a cheap option. And you have terrible parking.
Parking is I park
people
like
hear you
7
whisper.
blocks away every night. It is brutal.
Yes, I pay $2,400 for
And that's
a
another
house
thing.
in the
Yeah.
suburbs.
That is not bad. That is not bad.
Way
at all.
more. It's yeah, but of course. But how long did it take you to get to my house from Hollywood?
25 minutes
25 on a Sunday.
on a Sunday night.
So
Sunday night.
yeah,
True.
it's so then imagine
But who
the
goes to
work
Hollywood
commute.
during the day?
Well, I'm just saying, like what I'm paying for in slightly cheaper rent is I have to drive
True.
much further.
And that's another thing. You have to have a car out here.
You gotta have a car.
You got to have a car. That's another expense. You know, like you live in New York City, you pay a subway fee, a monthly fee of like $120 a month or something like that. Whoa. You know, you come out here, you need a car. And if you don't have a car, you move out here, you got to get a car. You got to pay car insurance. You got to pay for parking. You got to pay for certain streets you live on. You got to pay for, a permit or whatever. You got to pay car insurance. It adds up. So then you realize, like,
It's actually cheaper. My roommate Ubered before he got a car, and he said it was cheaper. We were living in the middle of West Hollywood, and he said it was actually less money for him to just Uber everywhere he needed to go instead of owning the car because of the combination of gas and insurance. And, then plus when you're Ubering, you kind of you're a little more cautious about where you are going. But
True.
So if you're in a central location and if you can stay in that city area, then it's actually not a bad option. It seems like it's going to be more expensive, but if you compare.
But we play in Orange County a lot, so we.
Yeah, so yeah, as a musician, that's true.
As a musician, you have to have.
You got to be able to go anywhere.
I park my car at my apartment, and if I have a gig in anywhere in LA, downtown or Hollywood, Uber all the way because actually I go with Lyft. But I just want to stress
this
that.
podcast is sponsored by Uber. Actually, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
You just cost me my sponsorship.
but no, because it's a $5 Lyft anywhere. But if I'm going anywhere else, yeah, you need a car. And like,
So I think everyone gets the point that LA is a tough city to live in. So it's tough to live in, and then you're also trying to, build a band in addition to this.
correct.
So people want to get paid, right? Struggle.
want to get paid.
It's really hard just to survive without any kind of extracurricular activity.
Yep.
It's you got to find a job that supports that.
You got to support yourself as a human being.
What else is going on when you're forming this band? Drummers come and go. So you're on drummer number 5.
Musicians come and go too.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you have. I feel like when the person who's starting a band has a certain vision, has a certain image, has a certain genre that they want to stick to, right? Mm-hmm. You find musicians. Okay, let's say you find the late and great drummer, bass player, keyboard player, whatever it is you're interested in. You find them, but they have other ideas, and then you find the struggle of like, ooh, okay. We need to figure out how we're going to mesh and get this all together and create and move as one unit. And I feel like a lot of that takes time. It takes time. You might find the right people that are down for the music, but they're not down for your music or what you're trying to do. And so you kind of filter it out through that. That's another struggle I feel like a lot of musicians face. And then it's like, okay, well, dude, if you're just going to be calling the shots, then pay me because I don't play for free. And then you get back to the whole other thing.
So when you're dealing with that in Mechanical Roots, did you give them the opportunity to kind of have a creative say, or were you kind of running the band like, listen, like I have a vision for this band, we're going to do my vision?
No,
and then they got tired of that?
In the beginning, before I had Zach in the band, so this is, I had a vision of like, okay, cool. I have these songs I came out here with. I want people to play on them. And I had that. And I'm not a drummer, I'm not a bass player. So whatever you guys create, cool. But this is what I have as far as.
But you're not telling them. You're not like I want you to hit that and that and play. Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. I'm a musician. I have ideas and I have good ideas. Got bad ideas like everybody else.
But you let the creativity on their end flow.
Do you? Because,
and then, but then was there a moment where they're like, "Hey, I wrote this song."
Yes, there is those times, and that's cool. But if it doesn't mesh with what we've already had, and it's happened before, it doesn't. Then you get in that sticky kind of situation where it's like, well,
how did you deal with that?
We jam the songs, we play the songs, and then I put my own spin on it and kind of give it the taste of the old stuff. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And
are there any songs you've recorded so far that are not primarily written by you?
No.
Okay. So everything recorded has been Kev O'Brien original, started by you, you brought it to the band. And so you jam out these other members bring in songs, and then how do you kind of break it to them that I'm not really feeling this song?
You just keep on pumping out other shit, and you're just, you pump out so much music. And
but do you have the conversation with them, like, are they persistent about it?
It's a tough situation. You got to be like, hey, man, look, it's a cool song, but I don't think it's going to work for this band. And then that's when, and you might be the one that doesn't agree with that, but the drummer and bass player or keyboard player or what the other majority of the band might say, well, nah, man, this is a good song, and then you're kind of ruled out, but you're the one singing and playing it, and it's like, okay, give it a shot. My third eye is always open. I'm always trying different shit, and for sure, you have to. As a musician, as an artist, you have to. Whether you're, musician, painter, photographer, you gotta be open to trying different shit that's not in your element. Sometimes great things come from that, and sometimes it's a waste of time.
But so far, it seems like nothing great has come from you because you haven't recorded anything.
Don't get me wrong, dude. No, Daydream. When we recorded Daydream, Zach had a great idea for the chorus. I had a totally different chorus.
Okay.
Zach wrote the chorus for the song as far as the music behind it and the chords we use. And it opened my eyes like, okay, cool. This actually does work a lot better.
Okay. And so that's how you know when you and Zach mesh together creatively.
For sure. Yeah, because first off, he's a great musician. He understands music theory, and he went to school for music. He studied music. He's a great bassist.
So we were talking about, how hard it is to find that.
Yeah.
How hard it is to find a Zach. So how did you find a Zach?
Facebook. Social media. As much as I hate it, you gotta love it too, because I posted an ad on Facebook and I was like, hey, I have these songs. I recorded an acoustic EP in Orange County one time, and so I had these demos that were good, but it was an idea of hey, this is what my voice sounds like, this is what the songs sound like.
So it was like a calling card that you could give to people.
It was, exactly.
So here's what I'm thinking. Do you like it?
Yep. Exactly like that. And I sent that, I posted that, and Zach responded. He's like, hey, I'm interested. But if Zach was here right now, he would tell you too. He was in another band at the time, and we jammed, and he was like, man, I don't think I could do it. I'm in this other band, and this band broke up. So 2 weeks go by, and he texts me, and he's like, hey, so
came crawling.
Remember me? Yeah. And it was cool, man. At first I was hesitant. I was like, I've seen this before, but you're really good. You picked up. All he had to do was just look at what I was doing, and boom, he created the great bass lines he has today. So overall, you struggle with commitment and people having the same vision, seeing the same goals. We all want to make it big. We all want to be big rock stars. Nickelback.
but you know what's interesting, actually, that I found is that. That's not true. Not everyone does want to be big rock stars, right? Because not everyone. There's two, probably more, but right now I'm going to say there's two until I think of the third, fourth. There's kind of two possibilities. There's the person who says they want all that, right? Yeah, I want to be an original rock band. I want commercial success. I want that. But then when push comes to shove, they don't want to do the work that is. They have an unrealistic expectation of how that's going to happen. And they seem to think if we just play it at a couple bars, at some point, an A&R executive from Universal Records is going to walk in and they're going to hear us, and boom, it's going to be magic, which doesn't happen anymore, right? That was something before the internet took over. And then you have the people who are interested and they start playing, and then the minute you start to get some momentum and some success, they get scared. Mm-hmm. And then they retreat. And it's not.
They get scared when you're like, "Hey, did you do this?" Yeah. And they're like, "Well, I don't know. I don't know if I know how to do that." It's like, wait, you don't know how to send emails? Like, what? You don't know how to personable person? But dude, that's a very good point.
And there's I get that, and it's like there's you're not comfortable at certain things, and I think at the end of the day, if you want to be successful in anything. Any business, you need to be able to push past your insecurities. 100%. Me personally, I am not good at half the stuff I need to do for a Greg Good Company, but I will push myself to do it because I know it needs to get done and no one else is going to do it for me. So it's like somebody has to make that leap and write that email to the radio DJ or to the booker of the venue, say, hey, and prepare for rejection or no response, and then you got to keep emailing them like an asshole until they're like, God damn it, what do you want?
100%. And one thing that you have to, obviously this business, music business is such a degrading business sometimes, man. It eats at your soul, it eats at your pride, it eats at your confidence, because no matter how good you are or no matter how talented your band is or good your music is, some people are going to just say this sucks or not down, whatever it is. And you have to overcome that because one person's opinion, sometimes it hits you harder as if like 20 people threw it at you.
And especially the more significant the person.
Exactly.
If you meet your rock and roll hero and you're all excited to give them Daydream, the new single from Mechanical Roots, and he's just like, he or she's just like, it's whatever. Maybe they don't know it's you. Oh, this is trash. Like, you're going to feel pretty bad.
Yeah, and you're going to be like, damn, why am I doing this? But
But then you got to throw it out the window.
Oh, yeah, man.
Fuck that guy. Who cares?
Fuck that guy. Fuck that mentality. Look, if you believe in what you do, it'll happen. You can make it happen. Seriously, I believe that. And for all musicians out there, it's like, dude, this is not a business that it's going to work in your favor all the time.
And it's really not even a business to start. You still need to treat it like a business, but you can't expect any monetary return.
Right. No, there's not a whole lot of return on this. It's more of just like output for yourself. But the more you grind and the more times you fail and keep going, I truly believe that if you believe in your craft, it'll happen.
I think failure, people have such a warped view of failure where they let failure defeat them. When I think failure is such a blessing. Every time I fail in the littlest thing, I try to. Every time I try to think of what did I learn from this. So I'm currently unemployed. I sent out an application to.
He's retired.
Yeah, I'm retired. I'm so successful. I'm retired. I applied to this company and I sent this cover letter, and writing it, I thought this is great. And I click send, and I think a little bit about it. I'm like, oh my God, that was a piece of trash. They're gonna read that and like, what the hell is this guy thinking? Like, but you got to swing for the fences sometimes. Yeah. But for that instance, I've had instances where I sent one of those swing for the fences cover letters, and they're like, this is one of the best cover letters we ever read. Please come in for an interview. So it's like, but I can look back at that cover letter and go, okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to, okay, I like what I did there, but I'm not going to, you learn from that.
Right.
And that's even like a perceived failure. I didn't even get rejected, but I assume I'm not getting an interview for that job.
Yeah.
But it's like, every time like a bad set, you get rejected. I mean, you learn ways you got to analyze what you did wrong. Why did you get rejected? And learn from it.
I look at it like when, so I always like to record the audio for our shows because athletes, when you have a game, what do with your team? You watch the footage. What could you have done better?
Yes.
So I think it's huge to listen back. It's 2019. We have the ability to record anything. Record rehearsals, record shows, record, whatever the hell you want to record. We have the ability to do that.
Sex tapes.
Sex tapes are definitely key. We'll get to that in a minute. But I think it's very key, and a lot of people might say, oh, you're very you're egotistical. You're listening to yourself. It's like, no, I'm critiquing the shit out of myself because how can I do this better?
Well, it's just like when you have a mix that you're working on for a song. My iPhone is filled up with so many mixes. It's actually annoying where I can't just like put it on shuffle on my iPhone because every 5 songs or something, I'm going to get at least one old Greg Good Company mix or rehearsal is going to pop in there. Like, oh, God damn it. And because you listen to that mix for 2 weeks before you go back and with notes, you gotta listen to it and you gotta analyze the hell out of it because you realize this is my art that like, yeah, I've had people be like, "Oh, you listen to your own songs? It's funny." And it's like
fuck yeah, I listen to my own shit,
I have to.
Hell yeah, because
I have to.
How can I grow?
And then plus two, if you can't enjoy listening to your own music, then that means there's something wrong with your own music.
If you don't personally like it.
If you're like, I'm tired, like 2 listens in, I'm over this, then you don't want to record that song.
Or you're just, man. I think there's a good amount of musicians that play music that they just don't want to play, but they do it for the money. And I get it. Again, you got to pay your bills. What's the difference between playing a genre that you absolutely hate and despise, you get paid well, versus a job you absolutely hate and despise, but you get paid well? It's not what you want to do, but you do it.
I've personally chosen the latter, which you just said. I've personally chosen. Well, I've been fortunate where I'm working media jobs, and I enjoy them. They're fun. And it's like, I know that this isn't the dream for me, and I'm working this job to support myself. And also, I'm building up this career too, right? But I'm ultimately going, what I really care about, what if I could do anything in the world, it would be Greg and Good Company. It would be playing music around the world. And so I know that I'm going to work every day. Going to work so that I can fund Greg and Good Company. Yeah. So that I can afford to have a roof over my head to practice, and so that I have this ability to get the band, and then I can pay for recording. There's all sorts of costs associated with music, and that's the other struggle. The cost of being a musician in LA. And
I have a really good point with that because Brian Garvey from Oak and Dash, one of my best friends, killer drummer,
great band, working with a Grammy-winning producer right now.
They're killing it. They're doing good. Check Nashville. Them out. So he had a really good point because him and I struggled with the fact that it's like, okay, we were 21, we had this band, all of our friends were in college. His girlfriend was in college. And people were telling us, dude, you should just go to college, man, and get a job. You get a good job, you pay for tuition, whatever. But he made a good point. He's like, dude, musicians and people that are not musicians but go to college, our tuition is the same but different. We pay our way into, we have to go out. We have to network. In order to network, you might have to pay covers. You might have to pay for parking. You might have to pay for drinks.
You got to go study. You got to go to concerts and actually study the successful musicians.
You have to meet people. You got to spend money. So you go one way, and again, it's out of your comfort zone. Same thing with like Joe Schmo. If he goes to college, he's moving away from his family, his comfort zone. He goes to his dorm and he's meeting new people. It's the same exact thing. It just kind of
and he's paying $10,000 or more for that dorm.
But in the end, we are all paying the same for a different career choice. But because a lot of people that don't understand the struggle of a musician, for people that have never experienced, just aren't musicians at all. They look at they have a 9-to-5 life. And that's great. Hey, I'm not doubting. Like, I'm not coming down on you. If that's your life, fuck yeah, go do it strong. But don't call out musicians and say, hey, maybe you should consider a real job, because that has happened in the past. It has happened in the past, and that I'm sure that's happened to a lot of people. It's these people that they don't understand. Like, oh, you didn't go to college. It's like, dude, we still pay almost the same amount of money to be a musician. We need gear.
Well, most people go to college too. Literally, the most people that I know who have gone to college, who I graduated with, especially because I went to film school, very few of those people are using their film degree. They're all a lot of them have since gone back paid for more schooling, for a more practical degree. Right, a lot of them are working look at me. I'm working in media, entertainment, journalism stuff. So I'm not really using my film degree. I've learned skills that I apply to it, but I'm not making films. I'm not directing commercials. I'm not directing TV or something.
Not yet.
I'm not a producer. But so a lot of those people are. It's like one of my close friends. He's very successful. His family's a lawyer for the military. He went through, I think, like no joke, 7 majors in 4 years, and he graduated with a communication degree. Came out to LA with me for 2 months, applied to some jobs, couldn't get a job, went back home, went to law school, and now law school has sent him on a really successful path, and that's the path he's going on. But when you're 18. And you're expected to choose the rest, pay to invest in the rest of your life in a degree.
It's like, what?
It's honestly, when I look back on it, I think it's a terrible idea. I think that you just got out of high school, you hated high school, you hated learning, and then you just want to you kind of blow off steam, right? That's kind of why everyone goes and parties, unless some people are really focused and good for them, right? But I think the average person, especially American, is just like when they're between 18 and 20, they're not necessarily thinking clearly, and they don't have the life experience to really properly guide them.
Right.
So a lot of them do end up changing their major or going back to school.
Times.
Yeah, and so your initial investment of $10,000, $20,000, depending on school, could have been $100,000.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Yep.
And you're going to be paying that off for the rest of your life.
Because even if you go to school and because I know a couple people that this had happened to, is they went to college, they spent all this money, and again, I'm not coming down on, if you do that, great, fuck it, but they did it, they got their career, they got their degree, and they were doing the career that they went to school for, and then all of a sudden they met somebody that totally took them in a different direction, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait, I'm not even doing what I paid all that money for.
Or they hate it.
Or they
hate it.
They absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
And at least I can say that, dude, all the money and time I've put into my music career, I will never look at this as a burden.
And you probably actually paid significantly less than most people who went to college. Because what does it cost to, let's say, how many recordings have you produced in your music career so far? 4, right? So 4 different collections of songs. So how, off the top of your head, how much do you think that adds up to that you paid for that?
$10,000.
See, $10,000? That's nothing.
But
that's 1 year of my college at Temple
But how did I meet those people? I had to go out. You got to spend money to.
Sure, but my point is, I would be willing to gamble that you paid significantly less for your music education. And like I said, Kev O'Brien is one of the best guitarists I've met in LA. And you're a good songwriter, and you're a good singer. So it's like your investment in yourself is paying off just by you impressing me, another fellow musician. So it's like that has worked for you.
Yeah.
And now you're also a certain type of person. You are driven, you're ambitious, and so you picked that and you worked at it. A lot of people could have picked that, said, yeah, I'm going to be in a rock band, be a musician, and then follow with the, just get lost in the drinking and the drugs and the partying and
the ego.
And the ego, and kind of lose sight of that and then blow it all. I mean, I met young filmmakers like that who really impressed me in film school, older people than me, and then I'm like, what are they doing now? And it's because they got lost in the partying of it and the talent they had.
Forgot their vision. They lost track of what they were here to do. I don't think anybody moves to LA you might move to LA because you just want to live here until you find out how much it actually costs and what you have to go through to actually enjoy life out here. You have to stay driven, man. That's one of the big, and that's one of the struggles. Going back to the struggles is
finding people who are driven, right?
Dude, for yourself.
Yeah.
Keeping self
that's
drive,
true.
Man.
That's true.
Keeping
so that's twofold. Yeah. Finding people who are as driven as you, right? Or at least almost as driven as you, right?
Yeah.
And then keeping yourself head up high.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there can be soul crushing rejection around every corner.
Unless you're the type of person that falls on your feet, good for you. But a lot of the times when you come out here, you fall on your face. And it's like, you know what? you got to keep going, and that could.
But those bruises build character, and that's the beauty of it. And your face 100%. Might look like
I'm an ugly motherfucker,
but you know, for following your face as many times as you did, you're a decent looking guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Alex,
I don't care what your
Alex, how would you shout it out? How would you describe your boyfriend?
He's hot. What do you mean?
He's hot. I mean, I was looking for more specific. Like, you're kind of like Sylvester Stallone. Oh, your friend on Facebook had a great comparison. When he's like, you're Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, that was Steve Carroll. He was the last drummer of Mechanical Roots.
What was it? It was Sylvester Stallone.
When I smile, I guess I don't smile. What do you call it?
Grimace.
Grimace.
Yeah, you know that's accurate. That's accurate. Yeah, you don't smile, you grimace. Yeah, you kind of got that Italian stallion look to you.
Yeah.
But apparently not Italian.
I'm not Italian at all. I am Irish as could be. My whole name is Irish as fuck, man. Kevin Francis O'Brien. Shout out to my grandfather. My middle name is after
Another
him.
struggle of being a musician is dealing with your name.
Yeah, god damn it. I was like, should I go by KFO? Should I go by, No.
So, what do you think you spent... just in terms of being in LA, what do you think you spent on your music? Rough estimation. Out of your pocket specifically. Or you can do it with the band's collective pocket. Two options.
Well, overall, let's just say overall, whether it be the band or solo stuff, probably close to 10 G's, for sure. For sure, man.
Yeah, because... producing music is cheaper than ever before. It's more accessible. But if you want to do it well, it still ain't cheap. Mm-hmm. Unless you know the producer whiz or you are the producer whiz. Plus, but it's like...
You got to pay to rehearse.
Yeah.
You're not at mom and dad's house out here. You're not playing in the basement. You got to
have a rehearsal room. Do you guys do a rehearsal room somewhere?
We do, yeah. MDM Studios on Monday nights have a killer fucking deal.
Okay, so you plan your rehearsals around that deal.
Yeah, Monday nights. But also Monday nights in LA are killer nights for like jam nights and networking nights. But it's a great spot that we rehearse at. It gives us 3 hours for super cheap. And it's honestly, we do once a week. Which is awesome. That's another struggle is like finding the time to rehearse and get together as a band.
That is because everyone is busy working, and you have to understand that people need to make a living, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have 5 people in Greg Good Company.
Yeah,
you have 3 people. So it's like, yeah, it's really quite tough just to text chain to get to figure out a date. And then that makes it even more of a bummer when someone cancels, when someone bails on that. It's like, that took 2 hours of texting to get that, to lock in this date we all agreed in, and you bailed.
Dude, sometimes you book it in like 2 weeks in advance, and then if you bail, it's like, damn, because not everybody has that 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Some musicians do, they got that job where they do, and they do music at night, which is cool, but there's a lot of waiters. There's a lot of... Uber and Lyft drivers too. The most of your money you're going to make is at night on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and then Sunday brunch or whatever. So that's got to be the biggest struggle, I think. Okay, cool. You found your musicians, you found your band. When do you get together? Because that's got to be the biggest struggle, man. Because nobody has the same schedule. And
then you get a show opportunity.
Ooh.
And it's a Thursday night, but...
You've got to call out of work.
Yeah, Zach works on Thursday nights. Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, it is probably, I would say, being, like, everything's tough. Everything's tough. You want to be an actor, screenwriter, director, producer. It's all tough. It's all really tough. But being in a band is especially tough, I think. I think it is... Because to some extent I've done, I've made short films with people... I've written stuff, and it's like I think a band is so incredibly tough. I actually quit stand-up comedy to pursue a band, and I look back, I'm like, why did I do that? All I needed was a microphone and myself, and I could walk around and go show to show. I did it because ultimately this is what I want to be doing.
I knew you were funny looking. I didn't know you were a funny guy.
Yeah, I'm cracking with this whole podcast, man. No, it's so, and then you got to haul your gear, and you got to buy the gear. You got to have it. You got to understand how to use that gear.
Hauling your gear through snow sucks ass. So let's just throw that out there. But
How old were you when you had your first band?
15. My first band, because I remember telling myself, if you cannot play Sweet Child of Mine all the way through, solo and all, you cannot join a band.
That's good thinking.
And so I remember telling that to my parents and being like, I have to learn this and I want to be in a band. I remember telling my parents in my kitchen when I was a sophomore in high school, being like, hey guys, I want to drop out of high school. And they're like,
go fuck yourself.
Don't you have homework to do? Get your ass in there. But no, now they look at it, it's like, wow, we probably should have let you do that and just do it, But no, I remember making it an effort to learn. And also, what was it? Seize the Day by Avenged Sevenfold.
Okay.
I had to learn that song for this audition for this band in high school. So I was like 14 or 15. But I almost quit guitar until my buddy, dude. I was at a party one time in high school, and he had this Epiphone Les Paul. And Slash, I've always been a big Slash fan. I was one of the Les Paul. And, I had this crappy Fender Starcaster, not even a Squire. It was a knockoff of a knockoff. And, my mom got it for me. It was dope. But I remember I picked this guitar up, and he just quit. He didn't play it. Parents got it for him. It just sat under his bed.
Where the fate of most guitars.
Yeah, exactly. It was like the holy grail of guitars. And I was like, dude, can I have this? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So I literally walked to his house from after school, and I walked that guitar home. And it's a heavy guitar. Les Pauls are not light. Dude. Yeah. I was like 14 at the time. I didn't have a muscle in my body, So that was a heavy
Not
load.
much has changed, huh?
Hey, check out my Instagram. But
for all you flexing.
Yeah, I got a fitness Instagram. It's dope. No. But
hey, bro, can you hold this camera while I pump out some iron real quick? While I do these squats, can you just film it, but get it underneath, get a real good angle of my
get near the
quads?
gooch, right underneath there, But yeah, no, I remember that changed my whole career. That changed my whole life when I got that guitar. Thank you, Dan Sahagan. You're the man for that guitar. Yeah, dude, that made me not want to quit, made me want to freaking commit. I remember my grades were so bad in high school, my dad would hide my guitar from me. And so I hid the guitar from him. And so when he would hide my other guitar, I had this guitar, and I would be playing it when he was at work or whatever. But yeah, dude, and I made a note, dude, you cannot get into a band until you can, impress the members. And mind you, I say I learned Sweet Child of Mine. I butchered that song, but I still played it.
You got through it. Yeah.
I got through it.
Now you can crush it.
Yeah, I'm sure
without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Slash is still the man. But I've joined my first band when I was about 15 years old, and I met Tommy Greenwood, one of my good friends, one of the best bass players I've ever had the pleasure of playing with. Really cool guy, and we hit it off. And it was one of those things where you wish you could find out here, that organic feeling of art and music, you coming together. Oh, dude, you're not worried about money?
Yeah.
Cool, I'm not either.
Yeah,
let's just play.
You're cool with just making
Let's just create, let's just...
So that first band, did you guys play places?
Yeah, Disabled Time. Shout out to Disabled Time. We played in high school.
They're never going to listen to this. Disabled Time will never listen.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, man, we played at places. We played, high school teen centers, won a couple battle of bands at teen centers. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah, did you say you've won every battle of bands?
I've done 3 in my life. This is now the 4th that Mechanical Roots is in, but I've done 3 battle of the bands in my life, and I've never, knock on wood, if we lose this one.
This is probably not real wood. This desk is
some polyester or whatever.
But
knock on wood.
But Mechanical Roots, we just
won the first round.
First round for a $50,000 recording deal, right?
$25,000.
$25,000. Okay.
Still haven't got my yet.
So, how many rounds you got to go through for that?
3.
3 rounds. So, you're one of 3.
100 bands, too.
100 bands. So, where's that at? When's the next one?
June. Yeah, they're kind of spread out, but it's going to be cool. We won the first round along with this. So, 2 bands advanced, us and this other band. I forget the name. They were killer. Good band. But, yeah, so we're, Mechanical Roots is it's one of those bands where all the struggles we've talked about, it's come together. And that took, mind you, 3 years. Mm-hmm. That took 3 years, dude.
So that's how much you got to care about this. Because when you initially think, I want to be a singer-songwriter in a band, right? You're immediately thinking of you playing to thousands of people on a stage because that's the ultimate goal. But it took you 3 years in Los Angeles, which is a haven for musicians, just to find 3. Well, you've been playing throughout, right?
Yeah.
And you put out good music, whatever. But still, just to find where you think you have the sweet spot now to really take it to the next level, it took you 3 years to find that.
Yeah.
And you're on your 5th drummer now. So if people are listening to this who are maybe just starting out or want to do it, there you go. That's 3 years just to get to that point, and you're just getting warmed up.
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up.
And you're excited about it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you're not angry that it took you 3 years. You are stoked because you're ready to rock. And those 3 years have made you better for it.
I wasn't just sitting on my ass for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the time you're trying, if you're a musician, a solo artist, whether you're a drummer or whatever you are, if you have a certain vision, if you want your own band, if it takes you 10 years, so be it. But those 10 years it takes, that better be the hardest working, most grinding years of your life. And honestly, I can proudly say that, like, you know, the 3 years it took me to get the 2 people that I'm comfortably playing with, I'm happy to play with, and finally that pocket that I've been looking for, it took a lot of great musicians to filter through, and it took a lot of learning and struggle, but mostly, learning, dude. Mm-hmm. It made me a better musician playing with all these players.
How do you deal with, you talk about these struggles and rejection and, the days you feel like shit. How do you kind of pull yourself out of those negative thoughts of, what am I doing? This is never going to happen. Oh my God, this sucks. Whatever your thoughts you may be having, the dark thoughts. How do you pull yourself out of that?
Well, first off, you got to find yourself a rock. And my girlfriend, Alex Gomez, AG Images on Instagram. She's the shit. Support.
She just vomited behind you. Oh, not on the couch.
God damn it.
Oh, come on, Alex.
But nah, her and I consider like my West Coast family, dude. Like, the support, you have to have support because you might believe in yourself, but when other people do as well, and you might get lost and you might say, oh man, like, God, I want a nice car. I want to have a family. Like, I want this nice things that your average Joe has. Because
you're seeing your friends, right? Grow up on social media.
My family.
They're getting successful. They're making 6 figures, working for the company XYZ.
Working for the company XYZ. And then I'm sitting here like scraping the barrel. Mm-hmm. But then I look at it and like, she helps me all the time looking at it. It's like, dude, like, we're different. We are not those type of people.
Yeah, different breed.
We're a different breed, and that's cool. Like, it's not about the money. It isn't. Seriously. Like, dude, if you live your life surrounded by the dollar, then you might as well blow your head off tomorrow. Seriously. Because what is the point of living if you're concerned about how much money you're going to make? Mm-hmm. The point of living is to live. Yeah. And enjoy your life. And, like, no matter the struggle, no matter how much you got in your bank account, or no matter how much shit you got, it's all about the journey and what you really want to do. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd rather be struggling doing what I'm doing now than being happily doing what I absolutely hate.
But because you wouldn't be happy.
I wouldn't be happy. What's the point? If you're not happy, what the fuck?
You'd be making a bunch of money, but then you would. And again, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. We support it.
Hell yeah.
But from us, as an artist point of view, if you were making a bunch of money, but you're not fulfilled artistically, it's not a good feeling at all. And I've actually been there where it's like I have a good job and there's like a lull in my creative life, and people are like, "Oh, you have this great job, you're working for this big media company," and it's like, yeah, but like I just want to be like touring, like I just want to be doing all that. And it's really tough. What helps, I agree, having like a good foundation, whether that's a really good friend group, whether that's a girlfriend, a wife, whatever. You and me are kind of similar where we're both in long-term committed relationships doing the rock and roll thing, which is which is kind of rare actually.
Yeah.
In LA, most people are single and ready to mingle. But I think it helps tremendously because no matter what kind of shit you eat at a gig or you're struggling, you go home to somebody who immediately makes you happy.
And we have dogs.
Good. And we have dogs.
Always stoked. They're like, you will make it one day. You know? Dogs are always stoked to see you. But yeah, no, you're right. It's good to have that because, you know, if you doubt yourself, well, first off, no one's going to believe in you like you do.
Mm-hmm.
People come and go in your life, whether it's your significant other or your family, friends, whatever it is. At the end of the day, they're not going to make your career. Mm-hmm. You have to get through the bullshit. You have to get through the struggle, dig through the mud, and you have to make it happen for yourself.
One thing, so going back about an hour ago in conversation when you referenced the fact that I had to bail out on performing at your EP release show at the Silver Lake Lounge, which just a little, the 1 year anniversary recently passed. It was in February 7th, I believe.
Yeah.
Because, so when I was going through this thing, which was the most dramatic thing in my life, some guy tried to kill me. I get arrested because I fought back. I'm going to Van Nuys jail, which is not a pretty jail.
It's not. I heard good things.
It's got great Yelp reviews. I was fortunate enough to, right beforehand, literally hours before this happened, I interviewed Andrew WK, who is one of like my rock idols because I really liked his first album back in the early 2000s. I love his song Party Hard. But not even for his music, his outlook on life. He's like a motivational. Are you familiar with Andrew WK?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I figured you would be. But he has a party philosophy. So that's what I was talking for like 2 hours about. And his philosophy is that life's a party. And in that party, there's ups and downs. But you can make every one of those moments a party where, you know, life is like a heart rate monitor. It's just boop, boop, up and down. But if you look at those down moments as what they are down, flip it. So when I went to jail, I'm just thinking to myself, what would Andrew WK do in this situation? I'm in jail. I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, I'm in jail. This is wild. I never expected in my life that I would be going to jail. And so instead of being in despair and thinking, being the fear of what's going to happen to me, I honestly was able in that moment to enjoy, to take a step back and enjoy, as weird as this sounds, enjoy the process of being arrested for some guy attempting to murder me. For self-defense. Yeah. And so I was able to really just take in this moment and be like, this is a really wild life experience that hopefully is only going to happen that one time. And so I actually had a really optimistic, I was cracking jokes. I was having fun kind of in a lot of ways. And that perspective, and that's how that was the moment. I've been doing it to some extent, you know, always try to look at the glass is half full instead of half empty. But that moment made me realize I can take pretty much anything. And with the right perspective, you can, in that moment, you can enjoy it because you can immediately think, what am I learning from this? You know, this is, at the very least, a fantastic story, and I'm going to get through this. Yeah, it's going to be annoying. Might cost a few $1,000s for legal fees. Might miss your show that you really want to play in. But you're going to get through it. And so it's like kind of just like riding that wave, because if you're surfing, the wave itself is terrifying. Yeah. But surfers live in that moment of, that's the beauty of it. They're surfing that wave that's could crush them at any moment.
And it always changes.
Yeah.
It always changes. You
so
never know.
That's how I personally deal with it. Just kind of appreciating, even in the worst moment, appreciating what is happening, and appreciating that it's the party. It's the
party.
Your life is one big party, right? And so this is one moment in that party, and there is something good there. But most of humans are prone to despair, I think. Yeah. So.
Look, it's not cut out for everybody.
Yeah.
if you take failure in a way, or if you take like the hardship in a way where it's going to beat you down and you can't come back from it, I would say the music business is not for you at all.
And we're talking from this experience too, as artists and bands at the shit end of the totem pole. You know, I'm not trying to disparage you or I, but it's like, you know, we're not stars, we're nobody, but we are so comfortable in the fact that we're making good music, we're putting forth our time and energy, our finances to take this burning, you know, sense in us that we need to get these words and these melodies out into the world, and that is the main motivator. That is what we enjoy.
100%.
And eventually, I always believe that the money will come. You know, if you put the work into perfecting your product, the money will come.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have the expectation, well, I want the money now. I want the money in a year. It's like, well, and that's the struggle with finding players, because you need to find people who understand you're investing your time, energy, and maybe finances into this so that long term it can pay off.
Keyword, investment.
Yeah.
It's an investment. That's the biggest thing. You have to, it's not just money, it's time, it's like love, it's your life, it's everything. You have to invest. If you're not willing to invest, then, you know, or if you can't find the people that are willing to invest, then you gotta move on. You gotta find those people. You gotta find the right recipe, perfect recipe to create the perfect meal or product.
Yeah.
So,
well, we've been talking for a little over an hour, so I think that's a beautiful way to end this conversation. I think
there's one thing I want to address.
Well, God damn it! And cut. What is it?
Spotify.
You're opening. We're gonna go in this. This is a whole other hour conversation. All right. What do you want to say about Spotify?
First of all, just musicians, if you're listening, anybody listening, first of all, 1 million streams. Whoa, that's so cool. You have 1 million plays. How much did you get paid? Oh, wow, $3,000. Damn, that's a month's income for like how many years of work? How long did it take you to get 100 or 1 million plays? How long did that take you? 2 years? And you only made $3,000? That's bullshit. Imagine if you sold 1 million copies of that song. You would be a fucking millionaire. You would be the quote unquote rock star that, you know, whatever the
you'd be Nickelback.
You'd be Nickelback or Creed. No, but seriously, it's just like, dude, musicians, open your eyes. Like we have been told that Spotify is the way to go because exposure doesn't pay the bills unless you're selling out venues.
Yeah, but how do you? Here's where I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I agree with you to a certain extent. It sucks. I wish that we were in a culture where we bought records, especially when you have a good record. And I can tell you the downfall real quick of that culture is because the record industry would put out so many shitty records with only, you know, 1 or 2 good songs on, and then they rushed it instead of taking time to make a proper product, that when something like Napster finally came around, file sharing, LimeWire, which led to Spotify, it was a relief because I don't need to spend $15 on this new album when there's only going to be 2 good songs on it. So that's kind of how we got there, right? Which is out of our control. We had nothing to do with it, but that's one of the major reasons why our culture is like, yes, free music, finally.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay, but let me get to my other point.
Okay.
So you're talking about, 1 million streams and you get $3,000. But what you're not accounting for is you're getting, if you get 1 million streams, I'm not going to say you're going to get 1 million fans, but that's how you're getting fans. That's how you're building your fan base.
But
who then you're selling to. So yes, our culture has devalued music itself in a way. So they don't even want to pay the 99 cents on iTunes anymore, which, by the way, I paid 99 cents for your shit.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And so you're going to, but what they will do is they might buy a Mechanical Root shirt. if they truly like your music, they will buy a Mechanical Roots shirt. They will buy tickets to see your show when you're on tour. They will buy your Mechanical Roots beanie. They will buy your deluxe edition release that you can only buy a physical copy of. They will buy the vinyl. So yes, does it suck that you're not getting money for the music itself? Yes, but do you put your music on YouTube? Do you put your music on Facebook? Do you put your links to your music on Twitter? I mean, to me, Spotify is just social media for musicians. People go on and they listen to what they want. But what you're doing, what Spotify allows you to do, is to build your fan base. And additionally, you're going to get, when you study the analytics, you're going to get so many insights into who is listening to your music, so that you as an independent artist can determine how you're going to make business decisions, how you're going to market. Because Spotify, although they're giving you a shit deal, a third of a penny, right, on a stream,
it's like a sixth of a penny.
They're giving you an opportunity where you don't need, you're bypassing a record label. The guy is going to reject you because you don't sound like, this band A that's hot right now. And you can upload it through any number of services for a pretty cheap fee, some more expensive than the others. And so you have an opportunity to build a fan base. And then once people, of that million people listening, you can look at the breakdown of the analytics and you can say, oh, wow, I thought that Mechanical Roots would be mostly male listeners. That's what I've been marketing to. Turns out, because Kev looks like the Italian Stallion, it's a bunch of women. And 75% of Mechanical Roots listeners is women. So actually, I need to be marketing toward women because there is an appeal toward women.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's the good thing about it. But in the end, how many of those million streams that you got from your song are buying your merch, are going to see you live, are going to buy your deluxe package, your vinyl, your CD, your T-shirt, your whatever? It's not. Because
but let me ask you this then. Who would have found you? How would they have found you? How would have of those, the percentage, let's say 10% of those million people become Mechanical Roots fans. How would they have found you otherwise?
If Spotify didn't exist, there are tons of other platforms that you could use to sell your music. For instance, let's pretend
what, iTunes?
No, let's pretend Spotify, iTunes, and Pandora Radio does not exist, right?
So the internet doesn't exist.
No, the internet exists. You still have Instagram, you still have Twitter, you still have Facebook. You're a band, you hashtag on Instagram. Cool. People follow hashtags. Follow the right hashtags, you go to different bands, different things. Boom, your band.
So you're hosting your music on Facebook then?
On Facebook or on...
But what's Facebook paying you then for every stream?
But you're not streaming through Facebook.
Well, yeah, you are. You're hosting your music on Facebook so that people
get a
can listen to
website
you.
click. So my website click, they go to my website, they go to my Bandcamp. You can only listen to 30 seconds of that song. If you like those 30 seconds, you have no choice.
But what if the 30 seconds doesn't sell it?
Well, then shit. Find another 30 seconds. Find another song. What if 5 minutes of the song doesn't sell it? You know what I mean? What if they listen to your song, the full song on Spotify?
But you're avoiding the question. How are then? So if you get 1 million streams on Spotify, that probably means you got put on a playlist, and that introduced your music to a playlist with a bunch of followers that then enabled them to just discover you. How else would they have discovered you? Yeah, sure, you can be on social media, but how many people really discover you through just by being on Facebook or whatnot?
Sure, you can argue that for sure. Okay, look, I get it. You have 1 million streams on Spotify. That's fucking awesome. You are now like Spotify certified. Like holy shit, 1 million streams. But at the same time, if you're looking to quit your job, make this a career for yourself. If you want to pursue your music career, meaning you don't do you don't do anything else but music. That is not going to pay. $3,000 that took you a year.
Sure.
The recording cost you, mind you, $3,000. You just broke even.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're at zero.
Yeah.
So what happens? You go on tour. What happens if nobody gives a flying fuck? You go on tour and you don't sell out jack shit.
Well,
it's like, dude.
I would say that you didn't do your marketing right then. If you could go on tour and you didn't.
Okay, but you could regardless of how you do your marketing. If people are
so, would you rather go back to a model where there's an A&R gatekeeper and they're only going to take 30? They're only going to take 30 artists a year, and of those 30 artists that they release, they're only going to really promote 5 of them really hard, put the money into it, and then if you're not one of those 30 artists, all you're doing is trying to get their attention, like, hey, you should distribute me too, so that would you rather have a gatekeeper, or would you rather be able to do it yourself, and it's the Wild West, and it's up to you to figure out how to make that Wild West work for you?
I think there's a middle that we're missing, and that's the answer. It's not.
But the middle never happened.
One or the other. It hasn't happened yet.
But it'll never happen because we let past it.
It happened.
We let past it.
But free music never happened. Nobody thought that would happen. But then some dude from Napster was like, "Yo, I can make this happen."
Yeah, but my point is, to me, it's kind of like moaning over spilled milk, because in what vision do you have for the world where it's going to reverse course and you're going to get to this middle ground you're talking about? How do you think it's going to happen? Or are you saying that bands could do it now? They could say, all right, fuck Spotify. I'm not going to use it. I'm only going to sell through Bandcamp and this. Because there are bands who do that.
Yeah, and I honestly, dude, think about it. Spotify wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the bands. And if the bands decided, well, shit, you're paying me, how much do people pay? $10 a month? And how many millions and millions of people are using Spotify? $10 every month? Millions of people? And we're only getting 0.006 of a freaking penny, dude. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I agree.
We're getting
it sucks.
fucked in the ass.
Totally.
So if every musician kind of came together and was like, well, why don't we pull our music from Spotify? Well, what is Spotify without the music?
Sure. And
we're still musicians without Spotify.
I would
music
love.
Is still there without Spotify.
I just don't have faith in people to do that, and so for me personally, I can tell you that I recognize all your same concerns, but to me, I just look at my favorite expression. It is what it is. That's the world we're living in now. So instead of me focusing on how I feel it's unfair for my product to be that valued that low, however, I see it also as a huge opportunity to then learn and play with that system so that I can take advantage of it. Just like anything else. It's, okay, here's the system we have. This is a reality we're living in. How can I study this and then market based on this? Because at the end of the day, selling your shit, building fans, it's all based on marketing.
Right.
Can you accidentally, Taylor Swift hears her buddy playing Mechanical Girl, says, you know what, I really like this song, and then she shares it to her Twitter followers, the video to Daydream, and holy crap, you just got blown up, and you now have a platform because Swifties have endorsed you. Sure, that could happen. It's probably not going to happen. So it's really up to us as artists and entrepreneurs to market, to figure out, and that goes back to what we're talking about with genre. Okay, here's the genre that I think I can sell it under, and that's going to help people, my potential customers, relate to. And I can say it's alternative rock so that they immediately are, okay, I like alternative rock, I'll give it a shot. So to me, it's just two different ways of looking at it. And I just don't see the point in continuing to be pissed off about it. And I completely understand why people are. But I just don't see that every artist in the world is going to come together and say, we're done with Spotify. And if we did it in the local LA scene, it wouldn't make a dent. It would not matter.
But it would matter if people that like Taylor Swift. I mean, there's a reason why she was like, "Screw you, iTunes, Apple Music." There's a reason why you cannot listen to the band Tool on certain platforms of music because they realize
and you know what, they can do what Radiohead does. They can host, they can sell it. They don't need a record label. They can sell it from their they can do it, pay what you want from their website, and they can still make millions of dollars because they already have millions of fans
because they're Tool. But no, you're right. It's a good way to get your name out there, but at the same time, like the bigger names will matter if they start pulling their music from.
I would support it if they're like, I would support that, especially now that you have. So there was legislation recently passed which boosted up the rates that they only pay, and now they're suing. Now Google and Apple, they're all suing over that to try to get that taken away. Surprise, surprise! Corporations don't want to make less money. Shocker. So I hope that. I would love it if the big artists in the world said, "Oh, okay, that's the last straw. We're going to boycott." And then,
why do teachers go on strike? Why do people 100%, go on strike?
And I would love it. I just don't believe they're going to. I just don't think they're going to.
Not yet. We'll see. It'll happen.
We'll see, man.
It'll happen.
Well, hey, cheers to the future.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yes.
Hey, it's bad luck if you don't drink. You better chug from the bottle. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hey,
thank you.
Kev O'Brien from Mechanical Roots.
Yes.
New single Daydream out now.
On Spotify.
But you should pay 99 cents on Apple.
Yeah, dude.
It's a great song. I'm gonna play it right now. We're gonna get out of here to Daydream. So thank you guys for tuning in, and see you next time. Peace out, yo.
Peace out.
I can feel the beat inside my soul. Awaken now, finally back to normal. Green is back on my side, stacking while I'm on this high. I'm gonna be leaving this past behind me, behind me. I've got it all now, I got you. There ain't a whole lot that I gotta do. I feel alive, I'm feeling free, a free man living in a daydream. I'm coming up from when I was down, sitting there waiting for a turnaround. I've got it all now, I got you. There ain't a whole lot that I gotta do. I can see the light is shining clear, breaking away from the darkness that I found around here. Green is back on my side, stacking while I'm on this high. I'm gonna be leaving this past behind me, behind me. I've got it all now, I got you. There ain't a whole lot that I gotta do. I feel alive, I'm feeling free, a free man living in a daydream. I'm coming up from when I was down, sitting there waiting for a turnaround. I've got it all now, I got you. There ain't a whole lot that I got to do. Oh, one day you will see that all the hard times, they were worth it with me. I can see it now, and it won't be long. Just keep on hanging tight, or just keep